Today we are going to talk about China. China, every time we are Trump catch China, no China, no. So we are going to talk about China. China is in the news, and why are they in the news? China is always in the news because they are doing marvelously well about tech, about everything for development. We all know that China is in there. And now I named this the flood. Why the flood? Flood because China is dumping millions of cheap gas cars on emerging markets. Emerging markets as in how? Your markets need to be big on itself. You look at the American market, European market, you see, say no, they are the bosses. They're able to do everything they need for themselves, as in developing weapons, developing cars, developing transport system, trains, all that, airplanes and all that. Yeah. And their markets are always doing well, as in developing, they're able to send also to other places to make sure, say, people elsewhere are developing like Africa. And now China is trying to also dominate this market with their cheap cars. China developing a lot of cheap cars in the system. If you were Africa, I mean, who say, and they will take over Africa. Because somewhere like Brazil, China is dominating with their cheap cars. And in Africa here, Ghana, to be precise, I've been seeing a lot of Chinese cars, the BYDs. Recently, me free Kumasi back, I saw one at Lendado, car near train in Beijing. That's the capital of China, and it's now a model, Beijing. So global auto war, China budgets cars, budgeted cars are trying to compete with the likes of Toyota, Hyundai, and all that in Africa and other parts of Africa, the world. Those places now, you see, so their economy is not so strong, and also there are no better automobile giants there. Yeah, so I've made some notes here. I'll be going through it with you, and by the time we finish, you get to know, say, yes, China is really trying, and they are making headlines about automobiles. Yeah, so now China is trying to make sure, say, or more building EVs. EVs here is electronic vehicles. They are building EVs, and the EVs they are building is mostly being used in China there and not outside. Though they send some outside, but most of the cars they are trying to send outside. Anyway, these fuel powered, gas powered cars. It's overshare gas powered vehicles Nibia. Ebi in Africa, despite say almost send more EV anya bebre na baha, because now EV is dominating in their land. It's cheap. Eba say maka no enya energy because they have made these structures for them to power those cars. But in Africa and other parts of the world, you don't see such things. In Ghana here, there are only few places here. Ubehu say, Omaya electric centers to power cars. There's some at East Legon, but East Legon is not so common. And other parts of Ghana, you don't come across these stuffs. It's if it's nearby Ghana, how do we power them? Unlike the fuel stations we've seen across like a dorsal in Ghana here. Offer baby a fuel station or offer baby a fuel station. Yeah, but for the EV, we don't have them here. So yes, Europe and America are not part of or more China targeting, because they know, say no, Europe and America or more marketing is not going to be easy to flood them with these. And some of these their cars, Sometimes so people can say made in China, made in China. There, made in China. Or make also you're great if you go Europe near there. But this time around, their cars are not entering Europe. Why? Because Europe has a standard, and these cars are not entering Europe. It's most of these cars they are focusing them or they are pushing them into Africa and other parts of the world. These places, second tier markets are no more targeted, and these second tier markets, the countries or continents are these places focus on Latin America. You get Eastern Europe. That's why I said I can say Europe, but you can't Europe near Eastern Europe because you understand. Even those in Russia mostly or more refer Europe. As in Russia put in credit me can say yes. If Europe wants war, we are ready for them. Eastern part of Europe, mostly they are being sidelined, something like that. And you have Africa, almighty Africa, we are in the second tier target because at a cheaper cost. They know so they don't need it. That's the full cars. And you look at West and Southeast Asia. Yes, almost sending these cars too. So if we see a boo of China electronic vehicles, but here the partner be dominate here be charge, they be charge. Other places they no be enti cars na forward cars they are shipping it here. I raising a lot of concerns around the world. Mexico. Most of Ghanaians say come Mexico. That's how the Mexicans pronounce it. Mexico. I try to raise the tariffs against these cars because someone will say no, the rate at which it is coming to their country, it's alarming. And they also have their own standard of cars they want, any other. So they are also targeting it. Okay, a country like Russia also charge a higher import fees on these cars. Why? Second, they ally in China. But Russia today make cars there, and the standard and all that. They are trying to know, they are trying to figure out, say, there will be a time these Chinese cars will flood their system, and a better than say, even made in China cars are more better. Okay, SA, South Africa, these cars are dominating them. Now it's 16%. The number of cars in free China called South Africa. So South African government has seen that Chinese cars are dominating, air chassis are dominating. They are trying to strike a balance. And striking a balance, well, it's not easy. It's only BYD and Tesla. Tesla is an American company, but as cars in China. No pet and try say they will still project EVs to other parts of the world. Different friend is saying countries all over the world. And Osha Chinese car beat to say SAIC, more Dongfeng, more BAIC, more Chang'an, and more Cherry. These cars, these car manufacturing hubs, they are the very ones more projected fuel cars across other continents because China, nobody is willing to buy it because they are shifting from fuel to EV, electronic vehicles. It's these companies now mum and they push Cherry globally make 130,000 vehicles to 2.6 million vehicles between 2022 and 2024. They were able to make sure say projected to these countries. Boss, Latin America, Eastern Europe, Africa, like these continents, South, East, and West Asia. This Cherry alone, they were able to project in between 130,000 to 2.6 million vehicles. So just imagine, say these people see more and more time, and they are still manufacturing cars. They are still producing, despite because hub no factory no, they are built. Say they are producing fuel vehicles, not EVs. So say no, China shifted from fuel. That means they are going to collapse. So they are targeting us. Yeah, numbers and these are gas-powered vehicles, no, abre. And now it has been said, say China, I exported this year 6.5 million vehicles across. It's just imagine 6.5 vehicles, you know, it's a mono 4.5 and a fuel or gas powered. They are EVs. So that means 6.5 for a free 4.5 ni free aka. The rest no and EVs. So these Chinese, they are serious. So that's why I say if they are moving towards this direction, they will make sure say Africa and other continents, they are going to ship their cars. What is Africa also doing? When are we going to manufacture our own cars? In Ghana here, we have Safo Kantanka vehicles, Kantanka vehicles. No one is patronizing. Why? Because needed assistance, need projections, I don't know. Anyhow, I said by now, Kantanka cars, no. Yes, for TB. Then we will cut important cars into our system. Well, we pray, say Africa or Ghana itself, you may do sometime. This is PB Sencherey Creators Hub. So unsubscribe here. Please do well to subscribe. Let's grow together. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.